Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar. Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It's yours truly, David McCaig, coming to you live from SportsCenter Bar and Grill, Wednesday, May the 2nd, 2018, as we are always here on Wednesday at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, and we are here for their famous 75-cent wing nights, and 75-cent wing nights are from 4 p.m. till 12 midnight. You can enjoy the Sioux's best wings, along with much more delicious food on the menu as well, and those great Molson products on tap, and amongst other beverages available as well. And you can be a part of a great atmosphere with the Sioux's best sports bar for the second year voted in a row. And as I said, it's myself, David McCaig. I'm alongside tonight here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill for his first time here in almost about 4 to 5 weeks, as Jamie Antonello has taken a vacation day today. It is Justin Hykel, one of my usual suspects, one of my usual co-hosts, analysts here on the Game Sports Show, and you can mostly hear Justin live on Thursdays from Boston Pizza when we're there on Thursdays. We're going to get to the show's background and all the sponsors and all the fun stuff with that in just a few moments. I'm just going to bring Justin on in right away here. Justin, how are you today, sir?
Oh, another day in paradise. Wednesday, we're over the midweek garbage, so we're looking forward to the end of the week. Hounds starting the finals tomorrow, and
Big, yeah.
May now, so we're getting close to summer. It's nice.
It's flying by. The snow is now melting. You got golf courses that are opening up. You have the Hounds in the playoffs, as you just mentioned. Congratulations, Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, obviously being in the playoffs, but I mean, they're in the OHL Championship Series. And us, Justin, where we're going to discuss a bit more off air, but we have press passes, a part of the Game Sports Show, that we will be attending the final series at the SR Center. So make sure if you see myself, Scott, and or Justin, make sure you come on up to say hi to us. And maybe we'll get you a little spot on the show, as we are going to be recording some interviews and some broadcasting points live from the SR Center throughout the entire finals for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. But here on Wednesdays at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, we discuss variety, I like to call it. We discuss In the Pocket, which is NFL. We talk NBA. We talk golf. We talk wrestling. We talk the roundtable discussion, brings up any kind of sport that we feel like discussing. That's the fun thing about the Wednesday show here live from SportsCenter Bar and Grill. And little shout out here I have to give before I even jump into further sponsors and the agenda of the show. Before I forget, I have to bring up Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't seen this movie, I don't understand why you haven't seen this movie if you haven't, but you should get out there, get your ass into the theater seats, whatever way you can watch that movie, get out and watch it. I know myself and Justin spent a half hour discussing it here at the table here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, along with some of the customers here at SportsCenter. Everyone is loving this movie, and it is definitely worth the watch, especially if you've been following the last bunch of movies for the past decade plus. Definitely worth going out to watch. So there's my shout out to the Avengers Infinity War. Great job. Definitely had me speechless leaving the movie theaters. But Justin, get back to reality here, as I like to get off topic once in a while. It has me flustered, that movie. But here tonight, we're going to be discussing in a very, let's say, short agenda than usual here tonight for myself and you, as we're just going to be discussing the off-season in the pocket edition of the NFL Draft, and we're also going to be discussing the NBA playoffs. We will not have a roundtable discussion or WWE or golf discussion today. We're only going to be discussing the NFL Draft and the NBA playoffs, and we're going to keep it short and sweet for you tonight, and it is just, as I said, myself and Justin for the entirety of the show here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill. SportsCenter Bar and Grill being the home on Wednesdays, obviously, as I mentioned. Thursdays is where we're live at Boston Pizza in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, where we're there from 9 until 11 p.m., where it's myself, Justin, and Brad Cochmelio, and Dane Hanshaw as the usual analyst there on that show, amongst many guests, professional and local guests. And we discuss the world of hockey and the world of baseball, both professionally and locally as well. Another home to the Game Sports Show, Mondays, the Wicked Sister across the river in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Myself, Scott Scott Nason, and Butch Davis and EJ Russell discuss the world of sports in a variety. Talking NHL, we talk NBA, we talk football, we talk local sports, NOJHL, we talk soccer, we talk everything there as well, which is in much comparison to this show here on Wednesdays, where it's usually myself and Jamie Ansel with the sometimes shower-uppers, I'd like to say on Wednesdays, Justin Hykel and Dustin Grondin and Dane Hanchero as well. But myself and Jamie usually spearheading the Wednesdays, but tonight it's just myself and Justin. Additional sponsors on the Game Sports Show here on the Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario side. Attached with Boston Pizza and with Sportscenter Bar and Grill here, we have the Salon, North Shore Sports Toronto, Discover the Canvas, Superior Pro Shop, Northern Quitters in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, and Northern Signs. And over across in Sault Ste. Michigan, alongside the Wicked Sister, there is Pingator Cleaners. Got to give a shout out to Alicia White, the beautiful waitress here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, giving us the delicious Molson products and the delicious food for Justin and myself. And, of course, to the notorious Scott Nason, our board operator tonight, as always. So, Justin, we stated what the agenda is going to be tonight. A little bit shorter than what it usually is. But if you want to hear all versions of the show, the long ones, the shorter ones with our previous interviews, you can hear them on www.thegamesportshow.com. Just go to the Wicked Sister, Boston Pizza, or Sports Center links, and you can click those links and it'll direct you to our Podbean page, which is thegamesportshow.podbean.com, and that's where you can listen to previous shows of the game. And you can also follow us on podbean.com and make sure you bookmark your website to thegamesportshow.com to follow us, and make sure you keep an eye on our website as well for the merchandise launch and the logo launch this week. And the logo is on the background of my phone right now, and it's quite the catchy logo, I must say. I had to give a shout out to Joanne Nanny, the individual who created the logo from Algoma University. Much thanks to Joanne. Definitely going to get a little present, part of the Game Sports Show, and Boston Pizza and Sports Center Bar and Grill and Wicked Sister all in one. Definitely going to throw you a nice little, let's say, prize or much thanks gift towards you for making such a great logo for the Game Sports Show. Also keep an eye on the pictures that are going to be released throughout Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and Michigan, and maybe other places. Just say you may find us in different cities. So if you see us, don't hesitate to do a little Snapchat. Give a shout out to the Game Sports Show or us on Instagram at the Game Sports Show. Justin, without further ado, let's dive on into our show tonight, our short and sweet show. I like to call it a short and sweet edition of the Game Sports Show. And we're going to jump right into the NFL draft last week. The NFL draft last week was something that was a bit of a surprise, especially if you're going to talk about the first round pick going to the Cleveland Browns, obviously, and not with them getting the first round pick or first overall pick. It's the Cleveland Browns who many people were surprised went with who they did. Let's say a lot of the reviews with the Browns going with Baker Mayfield was something of question. It's fair to say, in my opinion, I had Bradley Chubb potentially going first overall to the Browns, and then maybe the Browns getting one of Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, or Josh Allen, or even Josh Rosen at 4, as the Cardinals stealing Josh Rosen at 10, as you said when we were off air, being the most NFL-ready quarterback in the draft potentially. But the Jets getting Sam Darnold, they're hungry to get a star quarterback in that franchise, and they have been for years. Maybe Sam Darnold's the guy. But the Giants getting Saquon Barkley, what a steal. That's another guy that the Browns could have maybe went with first overall as well. Debatable, but somebody that they could have went with first and then chose a quarterback fourth. They could have waited besides making Baker the first overall pick. I feel they should have went with Chubb, and the Broncos, all in all, in my opinion, got the biggest steal of the draft, in my opinion. And one of the players that I want to shout out to the Cowboys, again, Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker from Boise State, 19th overall. I'm a big fan of Leighton, and I feel that he's a great addition to that Dallas Cowboys team, and I feel he is actually going to be the steal of the draft. I know there's a lot of players with expectations like Baker, Saquon, Darnold. You have even Denzel Ward going corner to the Browns for fourth. But Bradley Chubb, obviously the top 5 going where they kind of fell, or the top 10 going where they kind of should have fallen, but in different kind of order, in my opinion. But Justin, just to get your feedback on that first round. Quickly going through it before we do that, you got the Browns who selected for the first overall pick, Baker Mayfield. You got Saquon Barkley second. You have Sam Darnold that went third to the Jets. Saquon Barkley went second to the Giants, may I add. Denzel Ward went fourth to the Browns. And to the Broncos, Bradley Chubb went fifth, and that was a defensive end. Quentin Nelson went to the Colts, sixth overall. I'm sure you're happy with that selection, being a Colts fan. The Bills selected Josh Allen. The eighth, the Bears went with Rogan Smith. The ninth, the San Francisco 49ers went with Mike McGillicuddy. 10th, the Cardinals went with Josh Rosen, quarterback. Number 11, the Dolphins went with Mekhi Fitzpatrick. 12, with the Buccaneers going with Vita Vea. 13th, the Redskins going with Deron Payne. 14th, the Saints picking Marcus Davenport, another very good pick at that selection, in my opinion. The Raiders, 15th, going with Colton Miller. 16th, the Bills going with Tremont Edmonds. 17th, the Chargers going with Derwin James. The Packers going with Jar Alexander with the 18th pick. 19th, as I mentioned, the Cowboys picking Leighton Vander Esch. 20th, the Lions going with Frank Ragnow. I think I probably butchered that last name. My apologies. 21st, the Bengals went with Billy Price. 22nd, the Titans went with Rashaan Evans. 23rd, the Patriots went with Isaiah Wynn. 24th, the Panthers went with DJ Moore. 25th, the Ravens went with Hayden Hurst. 26th, the Falcons went with Calvin Ridley. 27th, the Seahawks went with Rashawn Penny. 28th, the Pittsburgh Steelers went with Terrell Edmonds, which I feel is another good pick. They needed a safety. I think the Steelers made a good selection there. 29th, the Jacksonville Jaguars went with Tavon Bryan. 30th, the Vikings went with Mike Hughes. 31st, the Patriots went with Sony Michael. And 32nd, the Ravens taking Lamar Jackson, which I feel might also be a steal at the 32nd pick in the first round. So I want to go through with all the picks just in case no one has seen what the picks were, and that's what they were in order from 1 to 32. Justin, just get your feedback on the NFL draft. Was it as expected? What are your disappointments? What are your surprises? And what do you feel are your steals?
The big one that stood out to me, just in the top 10, I was kind of looking to the Bears to take someone for their new quarterback to throw to, giving him a little bit of talent. I mean, they took some linemen last year. You can never really hurt yourself taking offensive linemen, so I guess it's a safe pick, but you would like to see some support on your young quarterback going into year 2. Colts taking Quentin Nelson. I'm really happy with that. A little more nastiness on the offensive line. We took a lineman early on in the second round too, and then drafted some twin defensive ends. So the Colts, I think, all in all, the Colts had a pretty good draft. I mean, I think personally the Giants probably had the best of all drafts, getting Barkley. And to me, the Broncos taking Chubb was a vote of confidence in them and Case Keenum. And that's what I took from that. Otherwise, it was pretty par for the course with all the quarterbacks going. I was a little surprised with Mayfield going first, but now we're hearing all these rumors where the Patriots were potentially saying they were going to go trade up as high as the second round to take Baker Mayfield if he was still available. Whether that's true or not, I mean, we heard it from Josh McDaniels, so that's about as believable as anything out there. I don't know. But it's interesting for the Browns. I mean, going through it as a Leafs fan and seeing your team go from the ground up, it'd be nice to see the Browns finally succeed. But Baker Mayfield gives me this Johnny Manziel vibe still, though. I'm not 100% sold on him. So
I couldn't agree more, Justin. With Baker Mayfield going first, I'm very surprised, like I said at the top, they didn't go Saquon Barkley. Decent, maybe. But mainly, the person that they didn't go with was Bradley Chubb. Defensive end, who came out of NC State. And I can tell you right now, Chubb would have been a great addition to that Browns team. And they could have gotten, at 2, I bet you the Giants would have went with Saquon Barkley at 2 if they went with Chubb. And the reason why I say that is because they had a choice between Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, or Rosen, but they didn't want any of them. Maybe they wanted Baker Mayfield. I'm not sure. I'm not in the Giants draft room, but they're obviously believing in Eli Manning at this current point. They went with the right and the best talent in the draft, and that should be your mentality, no whatever it is. Saquon Barkley was one of, if not the best at the draft, but I feel the Browns then would have had the 4th pick. Would have been right after the Jets, and I bet you the Jets had either Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold on the resume. And I feel the Jets wanted Sam Darnold from the start. That is who they wanted. That was the rumor of what they wanted. So I feel they could have gotten Baker at 4. They could have gotten Bradley Chubb at first, the Browns, and I feel that they could have gotten Baker at 4. They could have had a defensive end and a quarterback. Instead, they go with a quarterback and a cornerback, quarterback and a cornerback. And Denzel Ward is not a bad pick. Don't get me wrong. That is a decent pick. But I feel if they would have went with Bradley Chubb, they could have chose Baker Mayfield a little bit later into the top 10 there when they had the 4th overall pick. Now the Colts going with Quentin Nelson, definitely the nastiness is big. Nelson coming out of Notre Dame. And Notre Dame has a great football program there. And I feel that that's a good field to protect Andrew Luck, who we hope is going to have a full season for the Indianapolis Colts this year. But the Cardinals, getting Josh Rosen. They have Sam Bradford on their roster this year, guy who, like we discussed off air jokingly, that might play him at most 4 games this year. All jokes aside, we wish that Sam would play a full season. But, with having Josh Rosen, this is, in my opinion, I couldn't agree more, as we discussed, the most NFL-ready quarterback. And he looks like a professional, dresses like it, acts like it. I think he's a great fit for the Arizona Cardinals, and I think it's going to be a great learning year for him. And even if nobody agrees with me or not, that's totally fine, because I am going to say it and say what I want. But the Sam Bradford, I think, will be a decent teacher for Josh Rosen. I feel like Sam Bradford is a professor of the game in terms of not being able. He can't teach you how to play games because he gets injured a whole bunch. But Sam Bradford can teach you the professional side of the game. And Sam Bradford, who's battled a lot of adversity with injuries and was able to come back each time, he can teach you to have that strong mentality. And I think Rosen, who's NFL ready, if he can be under someone who's very mature, that's only going to help his development. Cleveland Browns, going back to them, that's an organization that is in dire straits of winning. That's what goes without saying. Like I think that's the simplest yet easiest way to put it. But I feel with this team, they do not know what it feels like to win, obviously, and they need to know how it feels like to win and definitely deserve. But this draft, I don't give them an A+. I give them a B because of how they drafted, not who they drafted. They drafted some good talent. Okay, Baker Mayfield, as you said, I don't have that completely sold, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, Bradley Chubb should have been the first overall pick, in my opinion. And listeners, I want to get your opinion on what you think. Should have been Bradley Chubb, and the Browns should have waited? The Giants, did they get the steal of the draft, or did the Broncos get the steal of the draft with Bradley Chubb? And did the Arizona Cardinals, getting Josh Rosen at 10, did they also find themselves lucky? Because those are the 3 teams that stick out to me, the Giants, Broncos, and Cardinals. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Those are the 3 teams I think got away with steals with their picks. But you had to know a quarterback was going to fall, and the one that fell the most was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson even had some predictions. Some experts had him going first round, some had him going second round, and you had to know if he was there in the second round that the Patriots probably would have tried to grab Lamar Jackson. But even though the Patriots could have grabbed him at 31, they went with a running back instead. Lamar Jackson going to the Ravens is a good fit, and him being behind Falco will be definitely a great addition to the Ravens, and I give them a little bit of props in terms of choosing 32nd and getting Lamar Jackson at 32. But the diamond in the rough pick, as I said off the top, the Dallas Cowboys, Leighton Vander Esch, that guy is going to be an absolute beast for those Cowboys. I want to know what you think about that pick as well. Leighton, he's a big boy, he's a strong boy, and he's fierce. This boy's workouts, this guy's heart, this guy's dedication. He might be one of the most competitive ones in the entire draft. One of the most, next to Bradley Chubb, and also next to Saquon Barkley, who I am very much adoring the pick by the Giants. Great move, and definitely the Giants are the winners of the draft, in my opinion, with notables going towards the Broncos and the Cardinals being right up there. Disappointments in the draft, I got to go with the Raiders. I got to say right now, the Oakland, the Raiders, soon to be Vegas Raiders. I'm not potentially sold on the Miller pick. I feel like they could have maybe moved the pick and helped somewhere else within the depth chart, or they could have maybe moved down to acquire more draft picks for future and kind of went to the summer free agency side or trade wise, or kept trying to add on that kind of realm for them for next year. But hey, the Raiders made that decision there, but they're the team that, in my opinion, were the losers of the draft. And the Browns, like I said, this year I think you're going to have a better year. I call for 6 wins this year. That's the most I think you're going to see this year. You might see 7 the following year, and I don't think you see the playoffs until the 3rd year. My opinion, I feel like if you would have drafted Bradley Chubb, it would have went in a different order. That could have altered and put you guys 1 year ahead of the plan, because we've had more of all-around system. Quarterbacks that have come into the Browns have not been successful draft-wise and trade. And right now, with the Browns having Tyrod Taylor, there's a quarterback who has something to prove, and I feel this year would have been a good experiment to just let him have it. Let him, that as an organization, you trust in him. Give the quarterback the trust. Give him that vote of confidence. So, you know what? You're the guy this year. We're expecting changes here. We have goals this year to be a more competitive team. Here's the ball, Tyrod. And now, if they would have went a different direction in the draft, they could have had some players to protect him or defend a lead, or maybe they would have had him give a ball to a very good running back who could have had the impact that Leonard Fournette had with the Jacksonville Jaguars, because that's all a quarterback needs sometimes. Look at Blake Bortles. He was on offense of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville had a defense as one of the best, if not the best, in the National Football League, but he had Leonard Fournette behind him. And Leonard Fournette had a unbelievable rookie season that you don't see every year. So I'm not saying Saquon Barkley is going to do that, but with Leonard Fournette knowing that he is the guy, it's going to be like Saquon with the Giants, with Barkley at the Giants. He's going to be the guy. He's going to have a good year with the Giants. Leonard had the ball given to him from Bortles. Bortles had the confidence to give him that ball, and Bortles made it to the AFC Championship, and hey, he almost defeated the New England Patriots. Okay, and that's Blake Bortles. And you know what? A lot of people, I thought Blake Bortles was the worst starting quarterback in the National Football League, and he still might be, in my opinion, but he's earned my respect. And I love him as a guy. The interview that he had there with what he would be doing if he wasn't doing football made me love him even more. So I respect him as a guy and a character, and he battles. But back to what I was saying, Jacksonville had a stud defense. The Browns could have drafted right. They could have improved that all-around depth, and then he could have had Tyrod Taylor either handing off the ball to Saquon Barkley if they went with that first overall, or they could have just drafted Bradley Chubb as defensive end, and they could have just let Tyrod be the guy who can throw and run the ball. Okay? And I believe right now on running back, the Browns have Duke Johnson, or if you want to go with the guy who is their number one, in my opinion, Isaiah Crowell. So there's Isaiah Crowell, who had an off year last year, who a lot of people had high picks, especially as their fantasy picks. So Tyrod Taylor, give him that confidence. You could have given Isaiah Crowell that confidence. Be like, hey, guys, look, we made these changes. We did this for the team this year. We made this impact, trading and signing for these guys. You have a full year with Flash being on that wideout. You know what? Let's give them that confidence that they're the guy to see what they can do. We can handle one more year like this, because there's so many good quarterbacks in this draft available. The Browns should have went with that first overall pick with Chubb. Or, like I said, they could have went with Barkley and then maybe tried to move Crowell or do a trade down the road or something. Like I said, either or pick would have been good, but they definitely should have went with Chubb first, then waited till 4 to either draft Denzel Ward or draft Baker Mayfield, and Baker could have backed up this year. And then with him going fourth, it gives Tyrod that little bit of saying, hey, look, they didn't choose this guy first. They just chose the best guy available. I still have a chance here. With the Browns going with Baker first, it almost shows that Tyrod has limited time on the Browns, and it just makes him have more pressure on his shoulders, where, you know what, you could have just given him the ball this year and see what he can do, because I think he can make a good impact for your offense. Tyrod, do not make me look silly by saying that. I'm actually saying that you can make a difference on that Browns offense. Just saying, I may sound crazy, but something tells me that Tyrod's going to be a bit more free in Cleveland than he was in Buffalo. So, Justin, that's our little talk about the NFL draft, who got drafted, the steals and all that in the draft, and a bit more of a dissection with the Cleveland Browns, because that's been the talk of the, post-draft, with whom they went with first and whom they went with fourth, and the Broncos getting a steal at fifth, and all these steals, and the Cardinals getting a steal at the draft, and people discussing how the Broncos, Cardinals, and Giants were the three teams that were steals. And like, I had my pick, like I said, Leighton Vander Esch being the steal pick of the late first round by the Dallas Cowboys. And shout out to my Steelers getting a safety. I feel that is a good pick. But the big thing about the draft that we have to mention, the tearjerker, Ryan Shazier coming out to make the pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Walking out and seeing him walk, motivation, that guy is an animal. You know, and it's definitely great to see that he is trending towards good health. He's obviously not 100%, but it's good to see that he is walking, that he is moving, that he is in good spirits. And definitely the Steeler Nation and the entire NFL community and NFL fans are behind you. That is a scary incident. You never want to see that in the world of sports. But it was definitely emotional when I watched him make that pick. He is the heart of that Pittsburgh defense. he's the guy. And without him, the Steelers were exposed in the playoffs, especially, and letting up 40-plus points to Jacksonville. Obviously, without Shazier, the Steelers were not as effective without having him in the lineup. So he's definitely missed in Steelerland, and we hope that he is going towards that 100% recovery sooner rather than later. But hey, it's going to be definitely tough based on the injury that he definitely suffered. So, Justin, what do you say you and I take a quick break, sip on these Molson products? When we come back, we're going to discuss a little bit of NBA playoffs and those Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, let's move along. Get to it.
Like that. We'll be right back after we hear back from our sponsors. You're listening to the Game Sports Show live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor, an additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar. The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional home to the Game Sports Show, Canadian franchise Boston Pizza. Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie, located on 601 Great Northern Road, Sault Ste. Marie. Come in and join Boston Pizza for its numerous specials that are offered. After 9 p.m. daily, come in to Boston Pizza for $9 schooners, $4 rail drinks, and delicious food. Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie, you're among friends. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It's David McCaig here alongside Justin Hykel. We're here live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, where we have been for the night. And if you missed our first segment, if you're just tuning in, myself and Justin just wrapped up our NFL post-draft thoughts with the offseason in the Pocket Edition, and you could tune into the Podbean page later on the GameSportsShow.podbean.com to get caught up with that. But myself and Justin here tonight on Wednesday, May the 2nd at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar, are going to be discussing the NBA playoffs here and the Toronto Raptors for the second part of the show in our short but sweet edition of the show, as we are only going to be discussing our offseason, the Pocket Edition, along with this NBA playoffs and Toronto Raptors. So, Justin, we're going to dive right into the NBA playoffs right now, and we're going to start not with the Raptors, because the Raptors is what's going to invade the entirety of this show, and we're going to save the Raptors for the wrap-up of this part. Game 1 between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. The Boston Celtics won 117-101 to take a 1-0 series lead over the Philadelphia 76ers, whom have had a great season thus far. Joel Embiid had 31 points, 13 rebounds yesterday. And you had J.J. Redick, my boy from Duke, one of my favorite basketball players of all time, fun fact, had 20 points last night for those 76ers. And also, Marco Bellinelli had 11 points, along with Daryl Saric had 12 points. And the cast of the Philadelphia 76ers really trusting the process, had a good game against Boston, in my opinion. The quarter that really got them underneath the 8 ball, or behind the 8 ball, is the right way to put it, would be that second quarter where they were outscored 31-23. The third quarter and the fourth quarter is where they kept the game tight, but it's that second quarter that the Philadelphia 76ers found themselves behind the 8 ball. But for the Boston Celtics, they have a team that does not have Kyrie Irving, and they've been able to manage to get to the second round, and they still managed to have a very good all-around game. Look, you had Jason Tatum at 28 points. Al Horford had 26 points. Terry Rozier had 29 points. Marcus Morris had 11 points, and Marcus Smart had 9. But playing the most minutes with 40 was Tatum, getting 28 points, just with 3 players having 29, 28, and 26 points respectively. That is extremely impressive for the Boston Celtics, going with all-around scoring. So the Boston Celtics coming away victorious in Game 1. Game 2 will come tomorrow, which is Thursday, May the 3rd, at Boston, with Boston having the 1-0 lead going into that game. Currently, for the Game 2s of the NBA second round, the Golden State Warriors take a 2-0 series lead with a 121-116 win last night over the Pelicans. And those Golden State Warriors, let me tell you right now, I think they're going to be still in a tough series against the New Orleans Pelicans, but it seems like the Golden State Warriors are still too dominant for those New Orleans Pelicans. But the Pelicans have a lot of positives look up from this game, with Jrue Holiday having 24 points, Anthony Davis having 25 points, and Rajon Rondo having 22 points. Rajon Rondo. Let me say that again. Rajon Rondo. From the Boston Celtics guy from before, where he was one of the most feared guards in the league. He had 22 points. He had 12 assists. He is looking very good for those New Orleans Pelicans. A lot of plus sides with the Pelicans, but Anthony Davis leading away for those Pelicans. It would definitely seem like, again, the second quarter getting 5 less points than the Golden State Warriors after leading after the first quarter was definitely kind of the thing that pulled them back and put them behind the 8 ball, as they kept the game close from there on out, and just losing 121-116 was definitely a close game, but still not enough to even up the series, with Golden State going to New Orleans up 2-0. Golden State in that game, Kevin Durant had 29 points, Draymond Green had 20 points, Steph Curry had 28 points in the game, Iguodala had 15, and Nick Young had 3 points, Kevin Looney had 8, Sean Livingston with 4, and David West having 4. Everyone getting a lick of the action on Golden State, definitely utilizing that full team that they have, much like the Raptors attempt to do. But Curry, obviously, being a guy who's a big part, only had 2 assists in the game, as Draymond Green was actually the difference maker in this game with 12 assists and 9 rebounds. But Kevin Durant being the guy who led the way with 29 points, as I mentioned at the top of stating the Golden State stats. Golden State will go back to New Orleans, as I mentioned, and the date of that game will be on Friday, May the 4th at 8 p.m. in New Orleans. Currently, the game that is on right now with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, that is the Utah Jazz and the Houston Rockets. The Rockets had a 1-0 series lead going into tonight's action against Utah, currently down by 12 with 4 minutes left in the fourth. It's still not a safe lead, but definitely seems like the Utah Jazz are going to be tying up the series and taking the series back to Utah, which is also on Friday, May the 4th at 10:30, and that will be in Utah. And as I said, it'll probably be a 1-1 series going back to the Jazz getting 1 win against the Houston Rockets would be definitely a good accomplishment. Splitting the series on the road to start in the second round is absolutely massive. And speaking of splits that are needed, we're going to dive into a team that needs desperately to win and not go down 2-0 going to Cleveland. The Toronto Raptors losing 113-112 yesterday by 1 point. A team that had the game, had the Cleveland Cavaliers. A team that they were winning, and a team that had Cleveland up against the ropes, as I said. They outscored Cleveland 33-19 in the first quarter. Then they got outscored 28-27 in the second. Then it was 27-25 respectively for the Raptors in the third. Then the Cleveland Cavaliers came up and got 23 points to the Raptors 18. Then overtime it was 8 points to the Raptors 7. But here's the big stat. Raptors threes compared to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland got 14 threes drained in that game, where the Raptors only got 6. Big difference maker. A lot of shots were taken by Cleveland, a lot of distributed passing, scoring, and the king was the king. He scored a triple-double. He had 26 points, 13 assists, and 11 rebounds. Again, LeBron dominating. He is 9-2 against the Raptors all-time in the playoffs, and Cleveland is up 1-0 in this series. Look at the scoring distribution in this team. J.R. Smith had 20. Kevin Love had 7. Kyle Korver had 19. Jeff Green had 16. You had Tristan Thompson having 14. Jordan Clarkson having 5. And a lot of those rebounds. Look at Tristan Thompson and look at Kevin Love. Kevin Love had 13 rebounds. Tristan Thompson had 12, and LeBron had 11. The Cleveland Cavaliers dominated on the board. As big individual who led on rebounds for the Toronto Raptors was Jonas Valanciunas, who had 21 rebounds, but that is basically the only person who had rebounds all games for the Toronto Raptors. DeMar DeRozan was in second with 7 for the team in the game. And for points-wise, Valanciunas had 21, DeRozan 22, Lowry had 18, Pascal Siakam had 11, and then you had Ibaka, who had 9, who didn't have the best outing, only having 2 rebounds. Ibaka needs to be more aggressive on that glass and needs to be more on the blocking side. And look at Fred Van Fleet having 9 points, shooting the ball in different areas. I don't think Fred should have shot some of the threes that he did. DeMar DeRozan, in my opinion, was not as visible as he should have been in the game. The guy who dominated in the whole game was number 23, LeBron James. Not Fred Van Fleet. It was the Cleveland Cavaliers, of course. And it goes without saying, as we mentioned here, Justin, the Raptors. I'm going to bring you on here to discuss the Raptors with me. LeBron James is a Raptor killer. He loves hunting raptors. That guy, too bad he wasn't alive for the Jurassic days when he was with the Raptors. He would have been a Raptor killer. I don't even think the human race was really around with the Raptors, but I think you're getting what my point is. This guy is literally an absolute stud against the Raptors and literally the best player in the NBA, in my total opinion. He can change a game with just one shot because he can make that shot. He has the intensity. He is the most feared guy in the NBA, and he's showing why he is still the best in the NBA.
And the guy just seems to pull motivation from anything. You're beating him in the game? Well, then he's just going to score more points than you because he's mad that you're beating him. He didn't score a lot that game. Well, then he's just going to put up another 20 because he didn't score a lot, just because he didn't do that yet. And he hasn't got a lot of rebounds. Well, he's going to start doing that for a little bit. I mean, he'll tee up Kevin Love for a few so that he doesn't feel left out. But for the most, he controls games. He just takes them over, and he seems to do it at will sometimes, especially with the Raptors. I'm guilty last night. I watched the first quarter of that game, and I was like, well, the Raptors seem to have this in hand, and I went and flipped over to the Winnipeg Jets game. But I thought the Raptors won until this morning when I heard the score. That's honestly how that first quarter went. I thought the Raptors, they played a pretty okay. Yep. I didn't think it was spectacular. I think they were a little tired from, the series against Washington, but I didn't think it was horrible, especially against the Cavs, who've been such an arch nemesis of the Raptors.
2 years in a row.
But evidently I missed something in the last 3 quarters, and it was LeBron just coming on and saying no. That's crazy. It's no different than Steph out west, really. Yeah. But the Raptors got to pull something together to shut them down, or mitigate the damage a little bit. Because when I say shut him down, your head almost exploded there. Yeah. But we both know that's not going to happen. But you have to come up with some sort of game plan for the guy. You can't tell me Dwayne Casey and these guys don't have a book on the guy right now.
After 2 years, you would think. And I said last week, and also mentioned on the Wicked Sister edition of the Game Sports Show to Scott, that with LeBron, you cannot guard him. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody said. The guy can play tight end in the NFL and be one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight ends in the NFL, because of how big he is, how big of an athlete he is. LeBron James is a freak of nature when it comes to being an athlete. He is a natural, God-born and given talent athlete. And LeBron is still human, though, and will make mistakes. The best way that I have found, now I'm not no NBA coach, okay, but from what I've seen, you cannot guard LeBron and can't shut him out for the game. He is too powerful and too noticeable, and he's given the ball at all times. The guy played 47 minutes. The guy played all 82 games this year. He doesn't mind not having rest. He had a tough 7-game series against the Indiana Pacers along with his whole team, but this is the Raptors against LeBron. The thing is with LeBron is you have to contain him. It's contain him. That is, you know what, when he's in the paint, if he's driving in on you, you know it's going to be hard. You know it's going to be hard. He turns around, makes that fadeaway shot. He's going to drain that 9 out of 10 times. You got to contain him to the sides. Make him shoot those long threes because as good as he is, he's not going to go 15 for 15 on three-pointers. Okay, he's not. He might get 40% to 30% of them, maybe 30 to 40%. But LeBron James is better having those shots where they're more further out than closer in because 10 times out of 10, not 9 times. 10 times out of 10, LeBron will probably drain it from close range. And if you give him that turnaround fade where he bounces the ball, he bounces off your shoulder, turns around, then does it up, he will drain that. That guy is patented for that, almost as good as Kobe was at it. So LeBron is a guy that you just have to contain. And when it comes to guys like Kyle Korver, there's a guy that, you know, has been given the confidence by LeBron. When he doesn't have the ball, Korver is loving taking the ball and is very confident right now. But with you shut down LeBron gets frustrated. When you contain him, he gets frustrated and he yells at his players, and that's where Kevin Love shuts down. Right there. There you go. Love. As soon as you contain LeBron, you're shutting down Love. So then you got to worry about Kyle Korver, and to be honest, besides obviously last game, but, you know, with having, you know, Lowry or DeRozan on him or someone being on him, I'm confident that I'm taking the Raptors in that matchup at the end of the day. And I can tell you right now that LeBron being contained needs to be the goal of the Raptors. And to do that, it's get him to the outside and make him touch the ball less somehow. And that is hard to do. But that is basically the only thing you can do. Because you give the guy that ball in any part of the court, he's going to drain it. But you have to also, the Raptors, what they have to do in the second part after containing LeBron is they have to take smart shots. None of these stupid shots they were taking. Cleveland getting 14 threes last game was not out of Cleveland's normality. They're a team that drains threes. J.R. Smith can drain threes. LeBron will drain threes.
Too easy. Like it just seemed like the Raptors were letting them do it. It wasn't like Cleveland was working for these threes. It was just
they were shooting the threes and just letting it all happen. The Raptors' defense was off, so like I said, they have to take smart shots, and thirdly, that would be that they have to play smarter defense, and I'm expecting a bigger performance, not only from DeMar DeRozan. He's been great all year. Serge Ibaka. That's who I'm expecting to be a force in the second game, and the Raptors goes out saying cannot go down 2-0 going back to Cleveland. Going back to the town, or the land. Going back to the land. My apologies. The Raptors cannot go back to the land down 2-0. They need to go back to the land 1-1. And they can do that by the 3 simple steps. Simple. Of containing LeBron. Very simple. Just kidding. That's very much sarcasm. Smart shots and better defense. Do you predict the Raptors go back to the land tied at 1, or are they going down 2-0? Honestly, Justin.
I mean, they had the ability to win that game last night, so I mean, if they're gonna have a chance in this series, they need to win. That's it.
Do they win game 2? Are we in the?
Are we saying what my gut's telling me, or are we saying what I gotta hear to keep Toronto fans happy? Because
say both. Let's go both.
My gut's giving me the same feeling I had in 2 minutes left in the second period in the Leafs game last week. So I don't know. I mean, the Raptors didn't instill a whole lot of confidence in me that they can pull this out. If you're going to let about 14 threes, man, that's a lot of
threes to let. I'll say that I have a feeling the Raptors are going to go back to the land being tied 1-1. Go Raptors, go. Got to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. You got to slay the dragon. You got to slay the curse. This is the team you have to beat, and it's a team you played well with most of the year, and I'm confident that you guys will get it done and tie up this series. Still a long series to go here. A lot of basketball to be played in this most anticipated series of the playoffs, potentially. Basically fair to say that the winner of this series is probably going to the NBA Finals. against either Golden State or the Rockets. I'm still standing beside that, but I did predict a Raptors-Rockets final, so let's hope I'm right, because you know how much I love to be right. Justin, that's our show tonight, fella. NFL and NBA. No roundtable discussion today. No golf talk. No wrestling talk. No other local news that we are going to be bringing up here tonight. We kept the show simple tonight, and we discussed our famous In the Pocket segment along with this NBA playoffs. Tomorrow night, myself and you, for sure, are going to be at Boston Pizza at 9 p.m. We'll be live on location for another short and sweet edition. And we're going to be there as the Hounds start their game 1 tomorrow, and going to be at that game as well. Going to have to leave the game and potentially go record at Boston Pizza. We're in the mix of possibly even going to be recording at the game. So it's either we're going to be at Boston Pizza at 9 or we're still going to be at the SR Center, but it definitely seems that we are going to be at Boston Pizza at 9 o'clock at that current time. So you can see myself and Justin there. That's what we have penciled in currently, but we'll have the show set for you live on location and be put on our Podbean page, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, and the website www.thegamesportshow.com. And tomorrow we're going to be talking the usual baseball. We're going to be talking hockey. Obviously, a lot of hockey to talk about in terms of the OHL playoffs, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, and also the NHL playoffs, with the second round obviously being underway from last week. And a lot of very exciting hockey has occurred in the second round between Vegas and San Jose, and especially those Nashville Predators and Winnipeg Jets. That series is absolutely thrilling to be watching right now, and it's the series that I got my eyes glued on the TV for our boy Justin Paul Maurice, friend and listener of the Game Sports Show, and you can hear his interview on the Podbean page, once again, thegamesportshow.podbean.com. But again, myself and Justin penciled in to be live on location at Boston Pizza at 9 p.m. tomorrow, and if you have tickets to go to the Hound game, good thing you got them, because they are sold out, and we're sold out quite quickly. So be happy that you got those tickets. Make sure you try to get your tickets in advance for future games for the Hounds as they go to the OHL Finals against the Hamilton Bulldogs. It's going to be a very good series indeed. And tomorrow, Justin and I will bring you all your hockey news up to date, along with baseball, as I mentioned, live from Boston Pizza. Monday, we will be at the Wicked Sister, myself and Scott Nason. We are going to be changing our recordings from Monday till Tuesday for the summer, just due to Scott's umpiring. So we'll keep you on the loop with those updates in terms of when we're live at the Wicked Sister. As the summer, a lot of schedules get adjusted. I can tell you 2 schedules that won't be adjusting. We'll still be at Sportscenter on Wednesdays and Boston Pizza on Thursdays. Keep an eye on the website as well for the merchandise. Follow us on Instagram at The Game Sports Show, or follow myself or Justin Hykel on Instagram or Facebook. I want to give a shout out to Alicia White, the beautiful waitress, bartender here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, as always, and to the listeners here at Sportscenter, you the listeners as well. And obviously, without further ado, big thank you to the notorious board operator and co-host of the Game Sports Show with America, and also on the Canadian side as well. I find he is a big part of the show, obviously being a host of the show. Definitely got to give him the shout outs at all times, Scotty, Nason, and Justin, of course. To you, my friend, for coming out. Thanks for coming to the Sportscenter edition tonight, and tomorrow night we'll be live at Boston Pizza. What do you say?
I think it's going to be a good time. I think we should also give a shout out to our buddy Jordan Zook, liking and sharing every single one of our podcasts out there.
Yes,
that's probably, I think, number 1 fan, maybe.
Yeah, I would think we should, when the shirts are released, I'm going to probably be sending Zucker a shirt for free. I know we do have a lot of listeners. We've averaged in the thousands. I don't want to gloat with the total number that is there in terms of our listeners that we get on the Thursday and Wednesday and Monday shows per listeners. It's much thanks to the listeners out there that listen, but definitely Jordan Zook and the like and share every show. Definitely a loyal listener. I know he expects a lot of WWE discussions. He wants a bit more of it, but I told him, I said, I'll discuss it more when he comes on the show to talk to me about it, because there's no other bigger WWE fan than Jordan Zook. Justin, a list of our sponsors quickly. You got Sportscenter Bar and Grill, Boston Pizza, Northern Critters in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, the Salon, North Shore Sports and Auto, the Sue Pee Wee Pro Shop, Discover the Canvas, the Wicked Sister, and Pingator Cleaners. And now, those of you who are loyal listeners to the Wednesday show and also the Thursday show, you'll hear the new introduction that we have with the Booyah. But also, you should know, the Booyah is used at the conclusion after this new catchphrase that we have on our conclusion on the Game Sports Show, brought to you by yours truly. At the McCaig Spesh, as they'll say here on the panel. Keep your stick on the ice. Swing your bat. Catch your touchdown. Drain your threes. And shoot your shots. Booyah.